How would you feel to be one of only 90 men to survive after enlisting with 1,100 men?
We care, Arie.
Do I start all over again? How would you feel to fight the civil war for a country that was not your own? How would you feel to fight? How would you feel to be one of only 90 men to survive after enlisting with 1,100 men? Bert Vanderholt was born on April 1, 1838, in the town of Bolingbroke in the province of Gelderland in the Netherlands. When he was 19 years old, he came along to America and moved to Overijssel, Michigan. On December 27, 1861, when he was 23 years old, he enrolled in the Union Army in Kalamazoo, Michigan. He was a private in Company I of the 13th Regiment of the Michigan Infantry Volunteers. During the next year, his regiment was involved in several battles and skirmishes in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Kentucky, as well as building forts and stockades and guarding the railroads in Alabama. December 26 to 30, 1862. Bert's regiment advanced on Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Often fighting stopped during winter, but the Battle of Stones River began December 31. The Confederates surprised the Union troops by attacking first at breakfast. All day long, the fighting was bitter. General Braxton Bragg, a Confederate, thought he had won the battle. He telegraphed Richmond and said, "God has granted us a happy new year." The next day, Bragg looked on the battlefield and was surprised to find that General Rosecrans was in position to fought off the Confederates. On January 2, 1863, Bragg ordered another assault, but his officers refused and the Union Army won. Battle of Stones River. The Battle of Stones River had the highest percentage of losses on both sides of any battle in the Civil War. On the first day of the battle, Bert received a gunshot wound in his back. He carried that bullet in his back for the rest of his life. The next 5 months he spent recovering in field hospitals in Nashville, Tennessee, and Covington, Kentucky. He rejoined his regiment in Murfreesboro on May 23, 1863. 4 months later, they marched to Chattanooga under the command of Generals Thomas Wood and William Rosecrans. By September 19, 1863, armies were on opposite sides of Chickamauga Creek in northern Georgia. The Confederates are trying to move north. Rosecrans told Wood to march his men forward from their position to an opening in the battle line. Wood was confused. Unfortunately, the order was written by a French-speaking officer who failed to make the order understandable to Wood. This mistake allowed General Longstreet to drive through the Union line. On the second day of the battle, Rosecrans and most of his army were driven back. General Thomas, another Union general, earned the nickname Rock of Chickamauga because he stood his ground when everyone else retreated. The Confederates won this very bloody battle. A witness claimed that the creek ran red with human blood. Bert received a gunshot wound in his right calf. While many Union men were killed or left on the battlefield wounded because the medical staff had retreated, Bert was carried off by 2 companions. They walked 6 miles to the medical camp. For the next 7 months, Bert was in hospitals in Kentucky, Maryland, and Michigan. He returned to duty as a corporal in Chattanooga on April 22, 1864. He was in Sherman's March to the Sea, but never wanted to talk about the terrible details of what he had seen. Bert was honorably discharged on January 16, 1865. By God's grace, Bert survived these 2 wounds and much time spent in field hospitals. They went back home to Michigan, and married William young. Bert lived to be 93 years old. had a daughter named Jane, who had a son named Peter, who had a daughter named Jolene, who had a son named Jonathan, who had a son named Arie. Any questions?